This is Love Unfiltered, where we dive deep into what makes love last, a raw, real take on relationships. Welcome back to another episode of Love Unfiltered, and I'm your host, Tazmein Coates-Crawford. Now, every love story is different, but what makes them last? I don't know the answers, and that's why I turn to the experts, real couples. Now, I believe that every couple knows something about relationships, but no couple knows everything about relationships. And for that simple reason, I believe that we all can learn from each other. Tonight, I have on set with me a legendary couple. I feel so honored to have them in my presence on set with me to share their journey and their take on relationships. She is a flamboyant woman. She is unapologetic when it comes to her career, her style, and charisma. She is none other than Mrs. Charmaine Blackman. Uncle Bunny, everyone knows him as Mr. Bonny Alves. He has been her biggest cheerleader, her biggest supporter, the man who writes and produces all of our music, even to the hit ones. Give them more for tag. So I'm happy to have them on set with me this evening, and they will be sharing their unique story about their love journey. And I'm pretty much sure they will inspire so many of you who are looking right now. Welcome to TLC's Love Unfiltered. I'm so happy to have you on set with me.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. It's an honor to be on set with you.
I am happy to be here with you too. I think it's an honor and a privilege that you find it interesting to have us to come on your program, maybe to make a contribution to your program.
It's an honor for me to have you both on set. I mean, the last time I interviewed Auntie Charmaine, I felt like Mr. Alves, he was sitting there in the corner, and I felt like this man has so much to say. He has so much going on in that head. I said to myself, I have to invite them back on TLC. But this time, this is TLC's Love Unfiltered, because I know you will have lots of thoughtful information to share.
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, by God's grace, I think so.
So you're the man responsible for your unapologetic wife with her flamboyant self and her
Well,
get em over top.
I wouldn't say that I am responsible because she came into my life with that in her, even though she didn't show it at first. But I subsequently learned that she was always like this, even as a child. I learned from some of her friends that she was always, a person who is always a stickler for certain things. And so I wouldn't say I may have enhanced it a bit more, but I think what you see with Charmaine is what you get. That has always been her.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so you do know that the name of this show is Love Unfiltered. It's a show where I interview different couples and get their take on what makes relationship last, because every love story is different, but what really makes them last, there's no specific answer, but I feel every couple knows something, but no couple knows everything. So I would like you guys to share your take on what do you think make relationships last?
Well, I think any relationship, especially one that is intimate in the sense of husband and a wife, there are certain fundamentals that you build your relationship on. And once you build that relationship on those fundamentals, it will last. One, love. There
Yes.
must be love. That word love covers uh, multiple areas. God, love speaks of respect,
Mm-hmm.
love speaks of patience, compromise, loyalty, and a lot more. And once your relationship is based upon love, I mean, love don't happen overnight. Um, you have things that might attract you to a person.
Yes.
And then when you are attracted, for instance, when I had my first talk with Charmaine, it was like an interview. She didn't know it was an interview. And so I was talking with her, and she was telling me about herself. And while she's talking, I calculate, and I said, "Why, this would be a good girl to associate yourself with and maybe subsequently marry," because I had loved her values, which is one of the things that attract you to people, their sense of values, what they value, and you know.
Okay.
And so I was attracted to her by her values, and
Yes.
then things started to happen, and then the love,
We,
bam.
we can dive deep. We can dive more into that in a few. So, Auntie Charmaine, what do you think makes a relationship last?
Compromise is the all in all.
That's true.
Knowing when to make yourself be felt and knowing when to step back and allow the man to be the man, and you might not like the position that he has taken, but he is the head of the relationship, he's the head of the home, and not everything will work in your favor. So you have to understand when to take the back seat, when to come forward, when to compromise. You know,
So
love
compromise.
yes.
All right. So let's speak a little bit about Mr. Bonny Alves and Charmaine Blackman. Let's go back a little bit. How did you guys meet?
This show comes to you with the kind compliments of Modern Optical Services. They are located 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone number 226-1082. Remember, they are the eye care professionals.
This show comes to you with the kind compliments of Lionel's Extra Virgin Coconut Oil products. They produce scented and unscented extra virgin coconut oil, turmeric lip balms, turmeric body scrub, and organically made hair food. Their products are carefully handcrafted to give you the best quality. Also, their products are handcrafted with love. Make an order on 661-3128.
Well, I first saw Charmaine at a show.
Uh-huh.
I just came back from the USA. I was on tour with the Yoruba singers. I came back and I was having fun with some friends, and Charmaine was on stage, and then she started singing the song. That was my favorite song at the time. So when she started singing that song, I decided that, nah, I can't. I put on the drinks. I said, I gotta listen if she could really handle the song. It was a big tune, big. And I listened to the song. She did a fantastic job. I left the company that I was with, walked with my drink, and I went backstage. And I said, young lady, I was very, very impressed with how you did that song. As a matter of fact, I was surprised how well you did that song. And there was nothing in my head at the time. I just went to pay a compliment, and then I left and I went back to my friends. And that's when we first met. And then when there was a situation arising where I was with the Yoruba singers and they needed a female singer, I said, I know the perfect person, Charmaine Black.
Wow. So you give her an opportunity there. So you would say her voice is what attracted her to you?
Well, her voice attracted her to me musically.
Or attracted you to her voice?
Right. But then as we start to relate and we start to talk, and I'm the kind of person, I am more interested in your values, your sense of values, what you value, what you do. Because you know what? Some people might be able to sing like how Lucifer used to sing.
Yes.
But then there might be like Lucifer too. You know? So yeah, even though the voice was an attraction, you know. But when I got to know her more as a person and not as a singer, is what really drew my attraction or attention more to her.
Wow,
Mm.
nice. So, Auntie Charmaine, okay, so this is a question for both of you. What was your impression about each other after Mr. Bonny Alves approached you,
Yes, and that
complimented
first,
you about your
but
voice?
yeah,
What,
that voice.
yes.
Um, I was like, oh yes, all right, thank you. And it was just, I
What was
didn't
the
think
impression?
about him. I had no impression of him on
Okay.
that first meeting. I had no impression. But after becoming a member of Global Singers based on his recommendation, um, and we began to work together as a member of the band and so on. Then is when I began to form my impressions of him because now I would be seeing him more often and listening to him and so and one of the things that I was impressed about was that he was God fearing and,
Nice.
and loved the Lord as we would say, because I grew up in a Christian home, and so that was one of the pluses.
So, Uncle Bonnie, you're sure you give this woman the opportunity to be a part of the Yoruba band because of her voice, or because you had something up
No,
your sleeve?
I didn't have anything up my sleeve. It was purely on the premise that this woman can sing.
Yes,
And
yes,
I
yes.
don't need nobody's opinion
Mm-hmm.
or influence to tell me that whether Charmaine could sing or not. I am a singer. I've been in the business for 55 years.
It's a long
And I am
time.
also a singer. And I know when a person can sing. Some people might talk a lot of stupidness. I don't worry about it.
This was genuinely for her voice and
But
her
I
talent.
knew that. I mean, she sang some difficult songs. And you know what? She just gave me the tip of the iceberg when I heard her. Man, what Charmaine is doing now is
Amazing.
about 4 times more than what she did when So I was happy that I was able to give her a platform,
Nice.
and more importantly, that platform gave me a wonderful wife.
Well, that's what I'm now getting to. So, when did you really decide that this is the woman that I want to marry? This is the woman for me.
We dated a couple of times. We went out dinner. We went out sometimes to a club, just and I had several conversations with her, and I really loved her sense of value. And like as she said, she was also God fearing, and I thought it was a plus because when you have a background of God in your life, of Christ in your life, there are certain principles that you go by. For instance, when you really, um, I don't like using the word love for the Lord because loving God is much more than just loving a person.
Yes.
It's a different thing, but I will use that for convenience. When you have love for God and love for the Word, there are certain things you would not do.
Okay.
And as against a person who might not love the Lord, people who might not love the Lord might always try to be rowdy and cantankerous and not being
Scheming and
faithful and
conniving.
yeah, So that was the other thing that I saw in her that I said, this is good. And so I kept probing into her life a lot more. And every time I probe and she revealed herself, I like what I saw.
Nice. Beautiful. So you wanted to make sure that hey, this thing is not just surface. This thing goes real deep. She's really, really a good person,
Yeah,
not just on the
you
outward
know,
side, but
I am so
within.
happy because 36, going on to 37 years later, we're still together,
Beautiful.
which means that it definitely was the real thing.
The real deal. So, Auntie Charmaine, when Uncle Bonny popped the question to you, what was that like? Did you say yes the first time?
Yes, yes, because by then I knew him. I knew what he stood for. I knew what I liked, what I didn't like, but was willing to compromise with. Um, you know, because everybody, in a relationship, not everything is 100% what you like,
True.
right? So you have to be willing to decide of those things that I don't like. Am I willing to live with it? Am I willing to put up with it? Is it possible that I can, maneuver around it? And those things are things that I can.
Work around.
So I knew what he stood for, what he's like, and what I can deal with and everything. And it was, uh, in the high markings, and so of course,
Beautiful. So
yes.
you've built um, a bold, creative, unapologetic legacy for yourselves because if you hear about Auntie Charmaine, you hear about Uncle Bonny. If you hear about Uncle Bonny, you hear about Auntie Charmaine, right? So tell me, how has your love influenced this career or the music industry for you guys sharing? How has your love influenced that?
Well, like as being a person who believes in God and believes in the Bible, the scripture said love covers a multitude of faults. I am not perfect. Charmin is not perfect, and I wouldn't want to give people the impression because we've been together so long, we don't have disagreements and all of that. We do.
Yes.
But I want to emphasize love again because if we have a disagreement, and I can tell you this, Auntie Charmaine sometimes when she decides, look, this is my position, that's my position. But even though we might have disagreements, we never stop talking to each other. We discuss a matter, I might have an opinion, she might have a different opinion, and it might be something fundamental. When that discussion is over, it's life as usual, as normal.
Beautiful.
So love is integral. Love is the fundamental, love is the foundation,
Yes.
love is the basis that could carry you through over every hurdle, every challenge. You could meet every challenge, no matter what it is, once you are genuinely in love.
Beautiful. Auntie Charmaine, you would have faced many critics throughout your career, throughout your lifetime, your journey as a musician, as an artist, being your unapologetic, bold self. How has Uncle Bunny helped you to overcome some of the critics?
Well, he's the rock. Yeah,
Nice.
he's the rock, on which I stand.
No, I won't have you
No,
say
I
that.
know that is
I am
yes,
I am a rock, not zero.
right, right.
Yes.
A rock.
The rock
No,
is Christ.
exactly.
Yes.
Rock is Christ. So he is a rock. He is a
He
rock.
is your rock.
As a musician and people, I believe that people in the public eye need to have people around them
Yes.
who they can lean on, for even if it's just to cry and then for them to put you back on that stage,
To help you
brush
compose
you off,
yourself.
right,
Yes.
and go again. Once you have that background, those people in your life that are there for you, you know that they're there for you. You can go through, you could battle, or of course the Lord, with the Lord's help, you
Hmm.
can battle through all of that. You know,
Being in the music industry or being in
yes,
the arts
in the
industry.
yes, and
Yes.
so he has been a rock, and I have a few close people around me who has been a rock, you know, um, that give you that, you know, impetus to
Yes.
continue, that give you that um, that shoulder
Yes.
and that talk to let you put you back on track and to let you know, don't worry with that. That is
Yes.
the devil.
You know
That
what?
is the
Can you
devil.
name a specific situation or song, and it really got to you, and Uncle Bonny really helped you to compose yourself and face the critics?
Okay.
You know what?
Get
Gire
them
mo
over.
futa. Yes.
That's a
Gire mo
classic
futa.
example.
It's a
Get them
classic
over talk.
example. Yes. I was just thinking about that when I was going from the beginning, you know. But if I had gone from the beginning, I would have had to some
I think that was the height of it.
that,
That was the
yes, some names might have to come forward. So I want to go to the beginning. But at the beginning of I'll continue. At the beginning of that venture,
Mm-hmm.
or like you said, Gire Mofata, um, the Gire Mofata came out of the GTT Jingle and Song
Yes.
competition. And that was an event that I, on my own self,
Mm-hmm.
given if I was by myself and battling through life by myself without anybody there, I might not have been on the GTT Jingle and Sound competition.
Okay.
So it was offered to me, and I'll brush aside a few other things, but it was offered to me, and it was Bonny who said, I think this is an opportunity for you to show people who you are.
Nice.
And that is the reason I took the job on the GT&T Jingle and Song competition, of which the song came out of.
You know, I want to
And
say
you got a
something.
lot of critics then, and that's what inspired that song. Get them over
Yes,
talk.
yes.
I want to say something. Charmaine is a strong person, but no matter how strong you are,
That's true.
everybody got a breaking point.
It's true.
And you always would need somebody there. Because sometimes when I feel, Charmaine will tell you some days I get up and I feel, it's a Charmaine, I can't do this, I'm tired.
Wow.
And I don't, the feeling would come. Thank God I'm the kind of person, I don't allow it to overwhelm me. Whenever I start feeling the way, I start look at my blessing. Charmaine is a blessing for me. And there's so many things. I mean, I was ill. I was
Wow.
at the point of death. I was hospitalized 5 times in about 16 months. I survived. I look at those things. The challenges are not easy, and I'm happy that at least when I come home or when we come home together, we have each other, that we can support each other. And the important thing is to instill in each other
Yes.
your value. Once you know your value, that's why I say I don't need a critic to tell me if I could sing or I can't sing. If you don't like my music, you don't like my style, cool, that's your prerogative.
Exactly.
But don't tell me that I can't, or don't tell me because you don't like me. Everybody else don't like me. You know, some people just come on social media and say, Charmaine, she can't sing it. I say, "All right, it's your prerogative." But look, we just put out uh, a song out there or a project out there, and the thing got 23,000 likes and love. So you're telling me that
Wow.
you are saying that only your opinion matters or
Beautiful.
only your taste matters? So, there had a time when when you're young and you're upcoming, you would lose sleep over nonsense like that. But that don't matter anymore. We know our
Wow.
value, we know our strength, we know our contribution, we have funds, and it is evident in terms of we got a residency at the Princess. And that's because people heard us and say, yeah, man, we want you to. So nobody can tell me that we can't perform or we can't sing when people are hiring you every week, Friday and Saturday. We had 6 months at the Hard Rock Cafe and stuff. So we know our value, we know our strength, man. And to God be the glory.
Wow.
We continue to like that.
Said that with confidence, and I'm a fan.
Yes,
I am
yes.
a fan. I'm following you
Yes,
guys on social
yes.
media. So
And there was a time, I mean, we shift a little, but there was a time I never wanted to even discuss or entertain questions on that, on whether
oh
somebody like you or whether, or would you who say you can't sing. I considered that I didn't want to entertain questions. There was a time I didn't want to entertain questions like that, you know.
yes,
And if I could say
you
something
have
too,
really grown.
Yes.
if I say this too, you will always have critics, negatively or positively. You can't stop them. And like as I said before, if artists we are not mega artists, we are not international artists.
Every single artist,
Uh,
Beyonce, Rihanna,
yeah.
every single artist, there are people who don't like them or people who
Yeah,
like
there
them.
got some there are time
Everybody,
people
every
saying
single
Beyonce
artist.
can't sing,
Yes,
Rihanna can't sing, you hear them stuff. So, once people going to say things about artists at that level, yeah,
yes.
some people gonna come and want to mash you down. But
Of course, you can't get everybody to like you.
No.
Like
You
you,
must.
exactly,
If
exactly.
everybody like
Never.
you're doing something wrong.
Right?
You will get critics. You
So
will get. And a good friend of mine, the CEO of Davis Memorial Hospital, Miss Beverly Chan, she said something to me at time. She said, sometimes people can give you 99 compliments and one person criticize you, and sometimes you forget about the 99 compliments.
Great
And
point.
that's just how the human
Great point.
mind operates sometimes. And you focus
Great
on the
point.
one person,
Yeah.
and that makes you feel so depressed.
Yeah.
So the goal is to understand that it's not everyone will not like you.
And count your blessings.
Everyone will not
You
like
count
you.
your blessings.
It's a good thing if everyone do,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Count your blessings, and that helps to take you through the challenges, the criticism, because when they might say X, you could look at why, like as you said just now, you are a fan and you saw it fit to invite us
Of
to
course.
do this interview. That's a blessing. So when one person might say, I don't like Charmaine, I don't like Bonny, I could turn and say, Tazmein like me.
Beautiful.
Or like Charmaine.
I can remember the first time I saw Auntie Charmaine. The first time I heard your music, I was just a little girl. And I think it was everybody something, raise your hand for
Raise your
Jaja,
hand for Jaja.
raise your hand.
Yes.
And I always wanted to know who sang this song, who's the singer behind this song, because I'm thinking it's an international
Yeah, a lot
person,
of
but
people felt it was
as I
funny.
grew older, I came to understand it's Auntie Charmaine. And then the song that really made me become a fan of you is Don't Disrespect Me. You're playing with fire, you're gonna get burned, don't test me. And then you puff up your chest. Listen up. You see, I'm a
Yes.
fan. So Auntie Charmaine Bonny Alves, you were married for 35, you were together.
36 years.
So you're together for 36 years. That's a long time. And you have witnessed each other change across decades. What is something that still surprises you about your partner?
This show comes to you with the kind compliments of Modern Optical Services. They are located 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone number 226-1082. Remember, they are the eye care professionals. This show comes to you with the kind compliments of Lionel's Extra Virgin Coconut Oil products. They produce scented and unscented extra virgin coconut oil, turmeric lip balms, turmeric body scrub, and organically made hair food. Their products are carefully handcrafted to give you the best quality. Also, their products are handcrafted with love. Make an order on 661-3128.
Well, I could say Charmaine is always full of surprises. She enjoys getting a kick, doing stuff, not telling me. And you just see things appearing, you might see a piece of equipment, or you might see something happening, and she won't tell me nothing.
Like a
And
surprise.
and I said, man, I'm having a day. And then me, you gonna buy the same thing because you're telling me what you're doing. And then these things, I mean, they just be good. But she always surprises me with something.
Aww.
Yeah, sometimes she won't tell me anything, and she doesn't want to be predictable. Sometimes I'm not very comfortable with it. I don't like the surprise sometimes. The surprises is be good though, not bad surprises. But she is the type of person who does not like to be predictable. I don't have a problem being consistent. And she's consistent too in terms of, well, I don't expect her to do certain things she don't. But I'm not the big surprise type. But I'll tell you this, I think I got a big surprise coming for she because I think it's time she gets her own medicines. So I got a big surprise. But she always does that. And all the surprises have been very good. And sometimes when you might think yourself, and I might say, Charmaine, you had this thing all the time, and now you bringing this thing out. I said, girl, I got to watch myself because the next thing you know, everything gone and me, nothing. But I mean, it's just fun and be saying that, right? But she's like that.
So that is what surprises you about your wife after all these years, is that she is still surprising you with things.
Still surprising me. I can't read her.
Oh, you can't read
No,
her.
sometimes she might say, Bonny, so the case. I say, all right. And then blows the thing come out. When you think, now go and forget it. It
She
is
already?
there. It's
Oh,
already there.
So
Or-
what surprises you is that she's still
let me say one other
unpredictable.
thing. Sometimes she might put something in the house and I
Uh-huh.
don't see it.
Uh-huh.
Genuinely, I don't see it. And so she's waiting now for hear the alarm and the alarm bell and ringing. Half the past, I ain't see it yet, And then she can say, you went by the kitchen? You went, so I say, yeah. And you don't see nothing, say no. Well, when you say so, then I can go and look.
Okay.
And they want to look.
You two are like two children, two kids, now in love. So, Auntie Charmaine, after all these years being married to Uncle Bonny, what surprises you about him?
He has always been genuine. He has always been. What surprises you?
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
What surprises me?
I'm listening keenly to hear what surprises you.
Nothing surprises you, or
Nothing
he's just
surprises me. He is,
okay.
He is steadfast and firm. I can put my foot on. I have, he's secure. Nothing surprises me.
That's beautiful. So, given the fact that you're together for so long, such a wonderful thing to have, because these days, relationships in lasting. And then we have social media that plays a big influence and a big role in, I think, that's one of the reasons why relationships aren't lasting these days. But what would you two say to your younger selves? Given the fact that you've shared this journey together, what would you say to your younger selves?
Well, being honest, for me, if I'm to say to my younger self, I would look back and I say, younger self, clap. You've made a good choice.
About your love and your career. That's the question.
Okay. Yet still, I would feel good about the decision I made 36 years ago.
Beautiful.
I look back at it now, I would say, yeah, I give that thanks that I did make a very, very good gesture, a very good decision. I have absolutely no regrets about it. Like as I say, I wouldn't pretend that we didn't have our disagreements. We have had our disagreements.
Yes.
But I think she has my confidence and I have her confidence that no matter what, tell you what, there were people who actually worked to break us up at times.
Wow.
saying, look, Bonnie, I want you to come do something, but I want Charmaine. Or Charmaine, I want you to come do something, but I want money. Right? And
Interesting.
a lot of stuff like that would have happened over the years. And like as I said earlier, when you develop a certain kind of chemistry between each other, the Bible says the two shall become one.
Yes.
When the two becomes one, it's difficult to be separated because you there are a number of things sometimes we do, um, and we are at different places,
Wow.
and we might think about calling each other at the same time, you know, and and you develop that chemistry, which is when you develop that chemistry, man, it's that is a fundamental principle in any relationship when you
Beautiful.
have a good chemistry between each other, and that's one of the things that has kept us going strong.
Beautiful.
I mean, look, there are sometimes Charmaine might get a job, and I might not be invited. I'm not talking about that. I mean, or I might get a job, and Charmaine might not get a job. But I'm talking with people who would, as a principle,
Yes.
as a fundamental, say, watch, Charmaine can't be on this period. Or they might even say to Charmaine, Bonnie can't be on this period. Now, some people would want to collaborate with Charmaine. I don't have a problem like that.
Okay.
But I would have to know,
Yes.
and they would have to approach it the right way, because I don't want us to have to go into damage control, after somebody may have just decided, well, look, man, I want Charmaine to do. I mean, Charmaine is mature enough. If there are certain things that are not decent, she wouldn't do it. I don't have to be there for her to make that decision.
Yes.
But at the same time, I still think that it is my responsibility as her manager, apart from her husband. I'm her manager outside her arranger, her producer,
Yes.
that I have to be involved. Even if you ask to the label, I still would have to know what you want to do. Let me get a glimpse, or let me hear what it is, that because I have invested heavily in this woman, and I don't want no a project bring her down back. It was difficult getting up there, and now you get up there, you don't want to come back, like come down back,
Understand.
on a misconception or a poor judgment on a particular matter.
Get your point. So, what boundaries do you guys set between your work life and your love life? Because just now you were making a point and you were speaking pertaining to work, but as it pertains to just her naturally being your wife, do you think it is okay for her to be invited to an event and you not be there?
It has
Or,
happened.
mm-hmm.
There are times when people might want to look. Sometimes we go out, and some people just want to talk to Charmaine. They want me around. It's cool, because Charmaine is a much more popular face than mine, much more
Yes.
beautiful face than mine. So there are some people would want, not only women, not only men, women too. And I cool with that. I mean, if it is that I've worked to put Charmaine at a certain level, I understand.
Yes.
And that's where a lot of times marriages fail. When you don't understand what is required of your partner. Charmaine is a star in Guyana, a mega star to a number of people. Some people have no interest in me, period.
Wow.
None whatsoever.
Look at
And-
Uncle Bunny saying that.
And I understand that
Wow.
Charmaine is the person that they want to, even interviews.
It's
They want
true.
to interview, or they want to speak with her. Go ahead. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a
Beautiful.
problem.
And you step back and allow her to take the
Yeah.
limelight.
Yeah, the boundary is that it should be done the right way. It should be done if somebody want to collaborate with me in terms of music. They have to go through him Say, look, the person has to understand, well, um, Bonny, I would like your wife or like your artist to collaborate with on this song.
Okay.
And they would speak with him. Like when, like for instance, back a couple of years back, I did a song with Adrian Dutchin. Adrian Dutchin and Bonny spoke about the project right through. I didn't even know about the project because he forget to tell me. I'm the person. So they made all their arrangements, did all their arrangements, and then the day in question, I went, Bonnie went with me, and we did the work together, right? So they must understand that they have to go through him. He has to know about it. This is for work, right? They have to go through.
Yeah.
Right now, I have a project coming out later down. The arrangement had to go through. This is another producer doing something with me. Has to go through him. That is what you
That's
call
principally
that.
how it should be
Principle.
done.
Beautiful.
How it should be
Because
done.
if
Yes.
let's say you're working with Sony, you're on Sony label, and of course you're not being big like Sony, but we just look at the principle of the whole thing, the approach, and you want to go and work with another label.
Yes.
Let's say you want to go and work with CBS, or CBS want somebody working with Sony. They have to apply. They have to apply. They have
Yes.
to state what they want and the conditions, or if the conditions are not met, then the other label can say, well, look, this is how we operate. This has to be met before my artist could come and do. And that mutual
then when
respect
that- and when
must
that-
be there.
And then when that project is over and
But
it
it's supposed
comes
to be given,
out, it
yeah.
has to say this person's
Courtesy.
appearing courtesy of
Yeah.
Yes.
the original label.
Yes.
Right?
But sometimes we just
but,
haphazardly want to say, hey, I got a rhythm. You want to write the rhythm? Where's the countdown?
You gotta do it the right way.
yeah, it has to be done.
Auntie Charmaine, I just asked you a question, and you said yes without hesitation, that you trust your husband. What it is that Uncle Bonny did? When did he do it to cause you to, as a woman, to feel so secure?
He has a good head on his shoulders. There was an answer I had in my head, and
I know
came
your
in and
answers.
it just went.
It's okay.
But he has a good head on his shoulder. I can rest assured that he has my interest at heart, as well as his interest at heart. That he has my interest at heart. We know we have come up with this consensus of how things are to be done and how things should be done. He
Yeah.
knows my likes. He knows my dislikes. I know his likes. I know his dislikes.
Yes.
I know his how he works overall, and so I understand and I know, because as a woman in the business, you must have somebody that you can rely on.
Yes.
And Bonny is somebody that I can rely on, based on the years that we have been together, and
Okay.
I know that he wouldn't.
You have that
I
confidence
have that confidence.
that he has your best
And I'm
interest.
happy about. I bless the Lord and I thank God for that, because a lot of people, even in marriages and relationships, people tend to be what you call this, competitive with each other. This is not a competition. Being in a marriage or being in a relationship it shouldn't be a competition, and who gonna outdo who, and who's
Definitely.
gonna or if I could put a little spoke. There's not a spoke to cause anything, but if I could put a little spoke so I could move forward in this no.
Yes.
That it shouldn't be. It shouldn't. That shouldn't be.
You're a team.
You're a team.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you also have to acknowledge that even though it's a team and we are not in competition, myself and my wife,
Yes.
we are never in competition with each other. But at the same time, you have to know where the strength of the relationship is, attacking on musically.
Yes.
Charmaine has a lot more fans than I have. Plenty more. Charmaine will just put up she thing on social media and it's done. I put up me thing, hard I gotta walk, forget it, forget it.
I was
Ah,
just getting to that point. Uncle
you
Bonnie
know,
is
so
so straight up.
I acknowledge that. And so I have to give her the support.
Let her lead with her
Even,
strength.
that's right, she got to be the person out there first.
Definitely.
Either behind me. As a matter of fact, I had a time I wasn't doing nothing for myself in relation to the stage. And she always saying, Bonnie, you could still sing, you gotta do stuff, man. She was encouraging me. And I said,
Yes,
man, look,
yes.
I comfortable, you be in front there. And then I went and I sang, and some other people said, you must do this some more, And so she
Yeah.
made me do an album of cover songs.
Yes.
And that started me, But the thing is, the strength of our relationship musically in terms of being viable commercially is Charmaine Blackman and me.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I
And I
know,
know that.
you're a businessman, right? You're talking about you musically, but that point that you just said, I feel it goes to any relationship.
Yeah.
If the wife is good in this area, well, let her do her thing in this area because you know that it's gonna benefit us. If the husband is good in this area, let him do it and give him the confidence that you have confidence in him because it's going to benefit us. So
Yes.
Uncle Bonnie made a good point. Even though you're a team, you're working together for one goal. Let everybody work in whatever strength they have and just support each other. So after all of these years, what still gives you butterflies?
This show comes to you with the kind compliments of Modern Optical Services. They are located 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone number 226-1082. Remember, they are the eye care professionals. This show comes to you with the kind compliments of Lionel's Extra Virgin Coconut Oil products. They produce scented and unscented extra virgin coconut oil, turmeric lip balms, turmeric body scrub, and organically made hair food. Their products are carefully handcrafted to give you the best quality. Also, their products are handcrafted with love. Make an order on 661-3128.
About your wife?
All right. I think my wife always remains pretty. Think she always. I think that I gotta mention something, and sometimes when I think about it, it brings tears to my eyes. I hope I don't cry right now on TV. When I was sick, I was really, really sick unto death. I had 2 surgeries for colon cancer, and for weeks I was in bed. My wife would come every day dutifully, sponge me down in bed because I can't walk,
Wow.
and dutifully when I gotta go to the clinic, taxi driver and she gonna help me to go out in the car when I meet to the hospital. I in a wheelchair and she can push me in the wheelchair, and she didn't really, she was not embarrassed, she was not ashamed. When I look back at her contribution to my life during my sickness, I give God thanks because if I did not have Charmaine in my life at that time, I would have been a dead man. I'm serious, and there's no exaggeration. She was there for me. God did give her the strength and the patience and the love to keep, and she's still caring for me because I am a member of 2 clinics. When we go to the clinic, sometimes the doctor says, "So, Mr. Alves, what are you using?" I got turned to she. And then she can say, "Well, this is what he does, and this is what he use and stuff." So she's still caring for me, and I'm thrilled
Wow.
to know that I have that confidence and to know that I ain't got to think.
Yes.
I know for a fact, based on the chemistry we have, the time that we have spent together, tough times, really tough times. They had times in the industry when things didn't going good. They had a time in the industry which was most challenging musically when For 14 months, we couldn't get a job
Wow.
because people really were trying to destroy us and saying all manner of stuff, and when you go through all of those stuff, you're ready to come out victorious. There's a confidence that it is like if God is building you now. So I think there's hardly anything people can say or do right now that I would really be surprised at. They try to destroy your career, they try to separate us in terms of our personal relationship with each other. All fail,
Yes.
you know. So we stand on solid ground, thank God, and we trust in that we'll continue to be that way. I mean,
That's
life. I
beautiful.
mean, life is a funny thing, but I can see, based on what I've been through, and based on what we have been through together, I can say that our relationship is solid by the grace of God.
And I was
Beautiful.
happy to have be there for him at that to that extent. It was really hard during that time.
Yes.
And I was happy that God gave me the strength to do what it is that I had to do for him during that
Yes.
time. I was willing to go for the long haul. I was happy to do it. There was no frown or fret on my part to do it.
Yes.
I was just willing to, because you see, in this situation, in order for people to get well,
Yes.
you need that support
Yeah.
and that love in order for you to get well. And so I recognized
Definitely.
that, and I was willing to put in my work
Mm-hmm.
in order to see him get well.
Because healing for me, I always say
Yes.
something, healing begins in the mind.
Yes.
And if you're sick and you're not getting that love and getting that
Yes.
comfort and that person to support you,
Yes.
it will make you feel even more sick.
Yes.
Even more
Yes.
sick. So the
Yes.
fact that you were, treating him so well, and he saw that, and like he said, he wanted to cry
Mm.
before he was going to speak about it. He wanted to cry because of the way that you treated him. Do you expect that, Uncle Alves?
Yes, in a sense, but
Mm-hmm.
I know she was going to be there. But then
Mm-hmm.
when we were actually in the situation, it was so
So much.
demanding.
Yes.
There are some times when I needed her help. I in bed and I sleeping and I needed her help, and I said, I'm not going to wake her because this thing could wreck her nerves.
Oh my.
And then she would just jump out of bed to check on me, and oh my gosh,
Beautiful.
I couldn't ask for better. And again, I'm saying that I give God the glory, I give God the thanks, because
Beautiful.
I know people who are in situations far less than what I went through. I have some friends, the wives left them because of their illness. I knew a guy who had a similar illness like mine, and he said to the doctor, to the nurse, I feel like I could just die because he wasn't getting the support from
Wow.
home. And 4 weeks after, he was dead
Sorry to hear about
because
that.
he didn't have that support
Support.
that Charmaine gave to me.
Yes. So, Uncle Bonny and Auntie Charmaine, it's such a pleasure to have you on set this evening. I'm about to wrap up the show, but before we go, I would like to. There's so many people looking at this program right now. Before we go, would you leave something positive to the young people? I mean, you have 36 years of experience being together, right? What advice would you leave for the younger persons or younger couples who are looking at the program right now?
First and foremost, you gotta check on your partner's sense of value, what their values are. There's some people who they see the foundation of a relationship is sex. I mean, sex is important in a relationship, but if they're gonna become the foundation of a relationship, I could tell you that relationship is in trouble because what happened when you're not having sex? What happened when there is a challenge? What happened when you're confronted with challenges and hurdles? How do you get over that? Then there are some people who might see a fundamental for them is fashion. Fashion is important, but that should not also be a fundamental. Fundamental should be things like if a person is loyal, if a person is focused, if a person is committed. I mean, these things happen over a period of time. So whilst you're dating, you gotta be checking for these things, the consistency. If a person would keep the word, if they promise to do something for you and they can't keep the word, all these things are red flags. You gotta look at the red flags when things are not conducive for the development of healthy, good, and strong relationship. If they are flirting about the place, and sometimes when you have a date, they come and things to that of that nature, you gotta look at these things. Look in terms of what do they think about marriage and what marriage is about, and also significantly if they have a spiritual background or a relationship or their perception about God. These are things that you need to look at. A person doesn't necessarily have to be a Christian, but the perception, the consciousness of God in the world, in almost everything that they do, the consciousness and the perception of God, those things are fundamentals. They're rudiments that should be observed, that would tell you, look, man, I I'm on the ground having a good relationship. Other challenges can come, but with that kind of foundation, you'll be able to get over the hurdles and the challenges, because once you observe these things, then it's easy for love for love to happen. I don't want to say fall in love. I don't believe in falling in love, but I believe that the relationship will develop into one of love. I rather use that word, develop, because love is something that it grows.
And you grow in love.
Yeah.
Well said. Thank you for that little advice. And to Charmaine, your take, what advice would you give to young couples or even married couples who are looking at this program right now?
Yeah, for young couples, be careful of your choices. Those points that Bonnie made are foundational, which lead you to your choices that you make. Don't see something in the day and then, as the big people would say, you're looking for candle to see it in the night, or when it's in the night you decide, oh gosh, what am I doing here? You would have seen people normally give you signs, they normally throw up red flags, and you have to understand those red flags and adhere to them. So choices, making there's a word before choices. Making good choices, good is not a word I want to use, but making good choices is very, very, very important, based on the rudiments that Bonnie.
Nice. And to married couples.
Yeah, for married couples, we have to exercise patience with each other. Patience is virtue. We don't pick at everything. You have to, in your marriage, you have to decide and to see where it is we can compromise. Where it is we can compromise to make this thing work. Sit down and talk about it and see how we can once there's genuine love and we have a feeling for each other, it shouldn't be that hard.
True.
To come up with something that we can both work with when it pertains to whatever situation you might be in.
Beautiful. Thank you both for
Thank you too.
those advice. And it was a pleasure, or it is a pleasure having you on set with me this evening.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Cheers to your
Cheers.
career and continue growing in love.
Yes, we're trusting God for that.
Want to shout out some people who commented on episode 2 of Love Unfiltered featuring Mr. and Mrs. Batson. Ravon Fang 35, you said, you guys defined what love looks like and how a relationship should be 100. I love this comment. Onika Griffith, you said, so inspiring. God bless your union. One of a kind. 592 Drew 8, you said, man, listening to you talk, making all the hair on my arms raise up, bro. Literally, had a conversation like this with my girlfriend the other day. Thank you all for your thoughtful comment, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe so you don't miss an episode of Love Unfiltered. Thank you for being a part of this episode of TLC's Love Unfiltered. I'm pretty much sure that Mr. and Mrs. Alves shared a mouthful this evening, and I'm pretty much sure that you took something positive away from tonight's interview. So I just want to thank you all. Don't forget to like and follow, and also leave a comment. If this interview inspired you, leave a comment. If you're a Auntie Charmaine, if you're a Charmaine Blackman fan, just leave a Guyana flag because you know she's one of the most patriotic artists Guyanese we know out there. If you're a big supporter of Uncle Bonny, leave a Guyana flag. Tell me what you think about the interview if it did inspire you. Thanks again for looking at this episode of Love Unfiltered with Mr. and Mrs. Alves. Take care and stay well. Bye-bye.